Today, I want to talk to you about what life in Christ is like. First, I want to tell you a little bit about this road. This road is not your typical road. This road is built over several small islands and reefs. It's crossed by 8 bridges. There are several roads and overpasses. This view of the road, it has a view to the open sea, which is very rare, even among roads along the Norwegian coast. You can see fjords and mountains near the road. It's spectacular. It is a tourist attraction. It is everything you'd want a beautiful drive to be. But they also warn that you should be very careful because it is so beautiful. People get distracted by what's to one side or the other. So they have these little bridge areas where you can walk out and see what's coming. One of the things that you notice about this is that it changes all the time. Even though the direction really doesn't change, the way you get there does. Sometimes there's water that crosses the road. Sometimes there's hazards on the road. At this time, it's almost dark, but not quite. And so you see oncoming cars with their lights on and cars that are parked to look at the beauty that might back into the road in front of you. That's life in the world. You stop and you look at what God is doing and you realize there's so many other things you need to be looking at the same time. Now I want you to picture the roughness of this water. And I want you to remember this story of Peter when he walked on the water. Immediately, Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost!" they cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come out to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and he began to sink. He cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" And then they climbed into the boat, and the wind died down. Those who were on the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." What I want you to remember from this is, walking with Jesus on the water isn't meant to be safe. It's meant to be an amazing adventure that calls you forward. So that's my challenge to you this week. Look at the beauty of the challenge and the adventure and go out onto the water with Jesus.